On this episode of the Best of Bias Podcast, you got your boy Lydell Dinero. It's just me this time. I do apologize, everybody, for that. But guess what? It's another episode. Week 2 is among us. Week 1 of NFL, week 1 of fantasy just passed. So it's only right that I reflect on it. Let's get into a week 2. A little bit of pop culture. Some stuff has been popping up here and there. But again, it's more so sports centered on this episode of the Best of Bias Podcast. What number are we on? I think it's episode 219. AKA, can you throw that up there? I don't know if it's time yet for the special season 3 artwork on the side. You know what I'm saying? We are trying to get new things. We're going to revamp that theme song, bring you guys something new for season 3. You know what I'm saying? New graphics, new everything, new topics. Chelsea wants to come on soon, so we'll talk about that closer to the end. Some new guests, some new segments and stuff we're trying to push, and some stuff that we're doing soon that we're trying to incorporate into the pod. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of NFL stuff to talk about. There's a lot of fantasy football stuff to talk about. So not to make this podcast too long for y'all, let's get right into it. Let's stop the long talking. And let's pop out and show, I was gonna say, where that theme song at? And let's do it. It's the Best of Bias Podcast.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's the Best of Bias Podcast with your favorite podcast host on the planet. It's Lydell Dinero. Almost forgot my own name, but I always remember just in time for the folks. What's up? Welcome back. Thank you for clicking play. Happy whatever day you listen to this on. But I'm recording this on a Wednesday, so I'm trying to get in here and hop on before the NFL weeks actually start. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try my hardest. You guys don't hold me to it. I'm gonna try my hardest to get in on Wednesday night and drop these. I'm gonna drop them Friday, but I'm gonna give my predictions before the actual Thursday game happens. So when you guys listen to this on Friday, Saturday, any time before, you need the advice for your picks and for your bets and stuff. So when you listen to the pod, listen to my predictions and stuff for this Sunday's games, Thursdays will already be on there because I'll have recorded this Wednesday, if that makes any sense. But all that hullabaloo to the side, how y'all feeling today? You know what I'm saying? How's the mental health? I'd like to say thank you guys for clicking on this podcast, click and play. You could have been any podcast in the world because there's thousands, millions of them. But you click play and listen to my podcast, me, Lydell Dinero. We're family here. If it's your first time click and play, thank you for listening. If it's your last time ever click and play, thank you for giving us a shot. If you're a long time listener, I'd like to say you're a family member. Welcome to the family. We do this every week. I try to do my best to get it every week. It's me, just a one-man show. Started the podcast back in 2019. Been doing it ever since, you know what I'm saying? Things have changed along the way. People that have been here since 2019 know what's going on. You've seen the development, you've seen the rise of the Best of Bias podcast, and I thank you guys for being here for the long journey. Whatever time you jumped in and joined the family, it doesn't matter. You're still a valued family member, and you've been here. Oh man, we were back in the garage thugging it out. Me and AKA were on every week. You saw my pop collection grow from 1 pop to 2 pops to 5 pops to 1,000,000. I feel like we've grown together, and it's a great experience. It's a great feeling. I commonly come on the pod and thank everybody who comes back regularly and who supports me all the time, and the folks that support the YouTube page, push play on the podcast whenever the podcast drop, when I send the links out on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, however it be. Thank you guys for always supporting, showing that you see me, you see the effort that I'm putting in, and the feedback that I'm getting. I love it. It's been years, but I love the fact that people look at me and kind of know what I'm about and what the podcast represents. And if they don't know, there's people to help me represent and help me explain and keep the pod growing. I'll get into TwitchCon. I'm going there really soon. Actually, I'll talk about it now before I get into all the sports, because they probably get lost in all the sports talk. TwitchCon, man, I do not only the podcast, it's a long ass introduction. Sorry, people that have been here for a long time and already know what's going on. I'm just going to kind of ramble for a second to the new listeners. Um, yeah. You know, Best of Bias as the podcast, but I like to say we're more than a podcast. We're merch gang. We're a media company. We're looking to do bigger and better things and expand out of just being a podcast. And you know, the space that we're in, we visit a lot of cons, comic cons, and just stuff in our realm that we're looking to get into just to make a name for ourselves. And gaming is something that we do a lot too. So it's also another another aspect of Best of Bias Media that we're going. We have a gaming team that we're trying to get off the ground. It's Best of Bias Gaming, BOBG, if you're nasty, you feel me? So we're going to be out there in TwitchCon, kind of representing, showing our face and just trying to join and just mingle with the group. So people that play the games we play, people that do the things we do, maybe some podcast workshops, and just listen and absorb stuff that I usually don't get to experience. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I kind of get carried away in the minutia of trying just to put out content and trying to be the best podcaster I can be organically rather than taking advantage of some resources that I have at my disposal. And I think that's something that I can really take advantage of. So TwitchCon San Diego 2024, I will be there in person this week. Actually, it's next week. Just rubbing shoulders and just getting to meet people. So if you're there, you see it, Twitch, I'm Lydell Dinero _22. If you know Lydell Dinero, you listen to this pod, you know who that is. You know what I'm saying? So just look for that name, that handle. I'll be in there live in direct effect, trying to meet people and just trying to grow the team as well, man. Me and AKA are pretty much the, main people involved. You know me, Lydell Dinero, I'm here every now and then. You know what I'm saying? You see my face a couple times. But AKA, as again, if you were here from the beginning, his situation. He's been in and out of the pod. Used to be doing weekly pods with him, chopping it up about various topics as well. You already know the breakdown of the pod, sports, pop culture. We're heavy on the superhero pop culture side of it too, anime. We were doing little things like tournaments and stuff and getting shit going and diversifying that way. But then he did move and he's still contributing to the pod amazingly and more than I could ask. Without him, I don't even know where we'd be right now. He always giving insight on new segments to put in. He does the YouTube videos that you're watching now. If you're watching on YouTube, you get the AKA for that. Just a lot of the stuff that we're trying to get out the mud ourselves. But once we do grow the team and we start getting the podcast out there a little more, we do plan to grow in a whole bunch of different areas, a whole bunch of different aspects. And we're just always trying to grow the team, excuse me. If you have any talents, social media editing, anything like that, if you're interested in pop culture and just like what I'm preaching and like one of the groups that I really look up to, shout out RDC1, Mark Phillips and all the boys out there, just seeing what they're doing just for the community, gaming, anime, pop culture, sports, just everything they're doing, integrating it all, and especially for minorities, Black dudes, to be able to be in all these different realms and not be looked at weird just for being themselves and liking to do what they like to do and just pushing that dream. Maybe it's not the same one as everybody else has or the same one that's super popular, but going in your own direction and being genuinely yourself is something that I can really get behind. And that's why, it's one of the reasons I started this podcast. And it's one of the things that I feel like is one of my, I would say, bridges to reaching out to a lot of other things that I would like to do. So thank you guys again. Make a long story short. Thank you guys for clicking play. And I hope you guys stick around because this podcast is going places. It's going to the moon. If you coming with us, let's blast off together because we already on the way. We just punching tickets right now. You feel me? So anyways, without further ado, that's a long talking. I told you I'm not going to be with the long talking, but I just long talked for y'all. I don't know. I'll just get into my bag real quick because I just felt like, I'm saying, I owe that to y'all. Like, I just appreciate y'all being here and me being able to bless y'all ears forever how long I'll be on this mic talking. But I told you guys it was going to be an extra long episode, but now I'm talking about nothing. But let's get into this. Let's do fantasy first. Hope you guys had a great first week of fantasy. I know there had to be a week one loser. If you lost in fantasy first week, do not hold your head. There's plenty of weeks left. I don't know how long your season's going to be and how many people actually make the playoffs in your league. But my league, the Best of Bias Invitational 2024, we have 6 teams making the playoffs out of 12. So it's not super crucial if you lose week one. but it kind of does set a precedent. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if you're that guy who jumps into the draft or is in the fantasy draft and like, oh, I'm that man. I know what I'm going to pick. I know my team. I got the people in my draft that I knew I wanted the whole time. So it's gonna be a breeze throughout the whole season, and you're gonna win every game. No, it doesn't go that way. I don't think I know anybody that's gone undefeated in a fantasy football season and won the whole thing. I've won a number of championships. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna brag, but I'm gonna brag. You see that belt back there? That shit don't come easy. Years and years of practice. You know what I'm saying? Years and years of perseverance, and I don't win every game. I don't win every game. And to be even more specific, I lost this week in the fantasy football league, the Best of Bias Fantasy Football League. I mean, I've won in some other leagues. Actually, I'm in 4 leagues. I won in 3 of them, and I still feel like I lost everything because I didn't win in my league, the Best of Bias Fantasy Football League Invitational 2024. I'm going to keep saying that shit if you don't notice. I'm going to keep saying that whole shit. But anyways, you know how I'm rocking with it this year. I told you guys each week, along with the NFL scores and predictions, I will be coming out with the review of how the NFL fantasy week went. Eventually, I'm telling you, bro, all the people in this league, Best of Bias Invitational Fantasy Football League, it's getting popular, man. There's people that on the waiting list trying to get in as people drop because, you know, inevitably people do kind of drop out of the league due to, you know, personal reasons, and I don't mind that. You know, always welcome back if you can make it back, and I'll give you that priority. But yeah, it's getting real out there. You know what I'm saying? If you guys, I'm gonna try to make it a priority for y'all to get your hours in on the pod if you want to continue to be in the league. You feel me? At least one episode, you know, out of 14, 15 weeks or how many ever fantasy football lasts. For our league, we need you on at least once to qualify to stay in the league. You feel me? Because you guys are avoiding it. I don't know why you guys are so scared. I be taking my lumps coming in here every week talking about how I lost. You know what I'm saying? Even if you lost, you can come in here and talk. You know what I'm saying? People want to meet you. I talk about you guys every year. They want to come here and see your face, and then you just pause, take it on the chin as well. How I be, you know, when I lose, but you know what I'm saying? But anyways, week 1 is in the books for us. I wanted to let you guys know. I know you guys already seen it if you're in the league, but just let the people know that are outside the league wondering how it went. I'm going to throw out the scores of week 1, the matchups, and the scores. So I played Kenny, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Pope. CD's Hands is my team's name. I lost Primetime Pope 137 to 109. It's okay. It's okay. He had Tyreek Hill. You heard about the Tyreek Hill incident, police being stupid ass police, like always. I mean, I shouldn't say always. What am I doing? What am I doing? The Best of Bias, you know what I'm saying? We're not anti-police by any means. It's just, I'm just definitely not behind cops putting their hands disrespecting Black people the way that they do. I understand sometimes people can get out of hand, not ban the law. Sometimes they deserve to be treated in such a way to where you feel safe or blah, 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 whatever you guys say. But when it comes to people that are completely innocent, that may say something, do something, be a type of person that you don't like, you take shit to the extra umpteenth degree to escalate and just throw people on the ground, embarrass them, hurt them, punch them, just to get the upper hand on them, just to say, just to exert power. You know what I mean? I understand what you do. I understand the service that the police officers do in this world, and I really do appreciate it, all the service, because, you know, I'm not a police officer. I would never be able to do the things that you guys do as far as protect and serve, you know what I mean? But sometimes when it comes to traffic stops and little minor things that people end up, Black people, people of color, minorities end up hurt, beat up, killed over, are ridiculous. But then at the same time, we have people that are not of color doing more heinous stuff and just being able to get taken into jail without being touched, taken to Burger King, taken to this place, or just being gracefully treated when they be killing people. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks that I have to kind of go here and kind of put another pause on the football talk, the fantasy football talk, but it's just kind of like getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of the reason why I lost this week too. It's definitely one of the reasons why I lost in fantasy. So I'm definitely gonna talk about it. You know what I mean? And it also puts into perspective what goes on every day in this country. Just when it comes to people of color, specifically Black people, specifically Black males, that could be just simply driving down the street. A cop can have a bad day. The cop cannot like that the Black person or a person of color is driving a nice car. playing loud music or has a nicer car, maybe makes more money than them. They'll just come out and just have a bad day and just have an attitude and use any excuse to what the person does to get violent, to get crazy, to embarrass, to scare half to death. It's just the stuff that shouldn't be happening when you're simply thinking that the people that do the things you do are there to protect and serve. It's like, what are you protecting people from that you have to do things like this for speeding? You need to damn near choke somebody out, throw them on the ground, punch them in the face, beat them up. In Tyreek Hill's case, he was on the way to the stadium driving to his game. They said he was speeding. And we just see at first just a video of him getting put on the ground by like 4 cops. We don't really see the circumstances of why it's happening. We don't at first don't know what's going on, why it's, what he may have said or what he may have done. No, we just have him being thrown on the ground and, just being manhandled and yelled at by cops, by ongoers, people going to the game, drive by and just see Tyreek Hill on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Being manhandled. Again, embarrassing, exerting power for no reason. Okay, then the body cam comes out. You know what I'm saying? Tyreek Hill is talking to the cops. In a way, I think most celebrities do. They get pulled over for a traffic violation. Okay, it's a celebrity. You don't want to get filmed getting or getting a ticket, or filmed being embarrassed by cops, or just letting people know it's you in that area for safety reasons, as far as getting robbed. You've seen a abundance of, especially Black stars, getting robbed and shot because people knowing where you are and setting you up and wondering what you got. You know what I'm saying? I understand how that, I mean, not me being a celebrity, but I've seen it happen in our community. Rappers being shot and robbed and killed, actually killed. This is a professional athlete on the way to his game. He has a nice car. You're giving him a ticket. He rolls up his window. I get it. Don't roll up your window. As a cop, you're like, you don't know what this person could be doing. Could he be putting on his seatbelt? Could he be getting ready to drive off? That's all the stuff that I was hearing on Instagram today. I get that. But I've seen, I don't know. You're a Miami cop. You know who Tyreek Hill is. You know what I mean? I get it. He shouldn't be held above the law, but you should understand why he may be rolling up his window, and he may be giving a little attitude. I get it. But just say please. I mean, you shouldn't have to say please. I shouldn't be telling the cops what to have to do, but they should know how to de-escalate a situation to where it didn't have to get taken to where it was. They lifted up his car door and threw him on the ground, put him in handcuffs, and just yell at him, like, basically like, you should listen to me. I don't care. Basically type of shit like, oh, you think you're Tyreek Hill. I don't care about none of that. I'm a cop, and you should know that type of shit. You know that, I got power over you type shit. He wasn't saying that word for word, but that's what it sounded like, man. And it just sucks that, because it's Tyreek Hill. Just imagine what's going on to people that aren't Tyreek Hill out there. That's what he even said when he went to the podium to talk about the situation. It sucks that it has to be a topic of news right now rather than actually just playing football and sports that's going on. But hey, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't just pass over the opportunity to let people know that this shit is real. The shit that people talk about in the Black community and the minority community about police treatment, how police are treating people. It's not just made up stories. You saw it here on the highest level. So, in people's regular day neighborhoods, regular day life, they're getting harassed 10 times as worse because they ain't Tyreek Hill. They ain't making hundreds of millions of dollars. And the police is still doing that to him. So that's crazy. Anyways, I divulge. Everybody's seen it. Everybody knows what's going on. That's just fucked up bullshit that does need to change. And hopefully, with this next upcoming election that takes place, whether whoever side wins, hope this shit fucking changes so we can all possibly live a better life. You know what I'm saying? People struggle with other shit. They don't need to be worrying about fucking getting pulled over and getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? We have to we trying to keep our jobs. We trying to go to work. You know what I'm saying? We trying to still just make ends meet. You know what I'm saying? We got to worry about little stupid shit about like getting pulled over, just driving down the street. Anyways, again, I digress. Let's get back to this fantasy football shit. So yeah, I lost this week, 137 to 109. Tyreek Hill went off like a motherfucker. I played against Anthony Richardson. Tyreek Hill and I guess Stephon Diggs wanted to just show out his first week too. Putting all those people at least 25 points over 25 points. On my team, I had Kyler Murray. Well, did I tell you I don't know if I told you guys my team post-draft, but I got Kyler Murray as my quarterback. I started Rashee Rice. I did start Rashee Rice. He played early on the Thursday night game. Nico Collins, CeeDee Lamb, Rashad White. I started Javonte Williams, Trey McBride, um, Chase McLaughlin for the kicker, Tampa-based kicker, and then I picked the Bengals defense against the Patriots. The Bengals defense fucked me over first and foremost because nobody thought they would lose to the Patriots, which is stupid. I'll talk about when we get to this fucking the scores and stuff. Kyler Murray started off hot, but ended up just letting the Bills come back and beat them. Didn't target Trey McBride much. Didn't target Marvin Harrison much, even though he was wide open in the end zone for a pass. It looked like Greg Dortch was the target of that he went to the most, and I don't have him, of course. But then he had Derrick Henry who scored. He had Jahmyr Gibbs. He had a good team to play against me week one who had good matchups. So he did end up beating me 137-109, but it's okay. Week two, I'm trying to bounce back. I'm playing against Derek. You know what's going on. I'm going to try to come back and redeem myself, but we'll get there when we get there. 56 double Ds. Jason beat Derek's jet skis, which is Sean G, I should say. I'm gonna stop giving away y'all government names. Derek's jet skis 77. Sean's championship team beat Hot Boys 119-102. This was funny too because this man forgot to play Lamar Jackson and he forgot to play Xavier Worthy in the opening game, forgot to set his roster, put in substitutes, didn't get to play Christian McCaffrey because of his injury, and still ended up winning. If that's not luck and the football god saying, hey, I'm giving you a chance, I don't know what is. But Sean's championship team again won 119-102. Armpit beat with myself. Derek beat Damon is 120-101. Let me see. Drake won, which is Yancey versus Cam's Catering. And by the way, no, he didn't. Drake won 106 versus Cam's Catering 89. And then K-Swag 27 beat Shenanigans 133-94. So good work, fellas. Way to fight it out. Week two is upon us. I mean, I think it's like, again, I said, I think it's 14 weeks. I think on week 15 is when the playoffs start because there's 6 teams. So the first 2 teams get a bye. And then the other 4 teams play each other, then the winners play the 2 bye teams. So we'll get there when we get there. Week one, again, it's too early to think you won the championship. Nobody wins the championship off week one. So don't worry if you lost. Next week is another week, and we got a week after that, and got a week after that. Make your trades, hurry up and do what you got to do. I wouldn't make any drastic trades after week one. Waivers went in today, or yesterday, if you listen to, Wednesday, I should say. So you should have who you need in your roster to try to solidify that win week two. If you can't do week two, look into trades, but it's going to be fun. I'm happy that everybody's back, and let's get into it. Week two, it's going to be me versus Derek. Armpit, I hope you guys are ready. Then it's Drake 1 versus 56 double Ds. It's Yancey versus Jason. Then you have Sean's championship team versus Derek's jet skis with Sean G. So, hey, Sean versus Sean right there. Hot Boys versus Primetime Pope. Cam's Catering versus Shenanigans. And K-Swag versus with myself. So, man, week two is upon us. Thursday night game is probably playing right now. Or whenever you listen to this, probably yesterday. If I dropped this on a Friday like I usually do. So it probably was yesterday. But power to you guys. Again, I need you guys on the pod. If you guys don't come on the pod, man, pause. I feel like that's going to disqualify y'all from being in the run. I know some people don't want to replace y'all. So, hey, think about it. Jumping into NFL week one. I made some predictions. Not all of them came true, but week one is in the books. We saw how some teams measured up, and we got a little glimpse of how teams are going to be this year. Not a full glimpse. I know teams may not open up the full playbook or know who exactly is going to be in what starting role or who's right for what, or a lot of teams are dealing with injuries. So it's not a full scope of what everybody's going to be later in the season, but we got a good look at the team. So I'll go over the scores and let you guys know if I got my predictions right that I made. Ravens versus Chiefs, the Thursday night game. It was a crazy game. I think I predicted the Ravens to win just because I feel like they needed it a little more than the Chiefs did. Of course, the Chiefs won the championship the last 2 years, but I feel like the Ravens blew it last year in the playoffs. They did everything they needed to do the whole season until it came to beating Patrick Mahomes. They weren't able to do that, and a lot of shit was talked during the season, getting everybody ready for this game, saying it's a must-win for Lamar, putting a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes, saying that maybe it's a must-win for them still. I mean, a must-win for them too to kind of put their foot on the AFC's neck and let them just assert their dominance. But it's a lot of pressure to put on week one. But they gave us another game for the ages, like Patrick Mahomes and teams he play usually do. Ravens lost 27 to, or excuse me, yeah, Chiefs won, I should say, 27-20. It came down to the last play. Isaiah Likely's foot was a little too big back in the end zone, where they tied the game. Presumably, it would have been 26-27, and they still would have had to make the field goal, if not go for two, to either take it to the overtime or win the game. But it was crazy because time management wasn't really good. There wasn't much time left for the Ravens to drive down the field. But some way, man, Lamar in that game, he just felt like he had put the game on his shoulders. He ran a whole bunch, tried to run people over. That spin move, they was hitting that circle hella fast because that boy was spinning around people. But it just came to a point where he was looking for contact and kind of playing out of his character a little too much, trying to win the game backyard football style. He did miss a couple of throws that could have been wide open touchdowns. That throw to Zay Flowers in the back of the end zone that he said he was throwing to Rashad Bateman. Whatever it was, you had a wide open touchdown to tie the game, but he did do his best to make up for that and throw a touchdown to Likely, but his toe, he couldn't get the toe tap down. Everybody saw that. And the Chiefs actually got away with another one and opened the game. And it was a really good game, good start. We saw how the new Chiefs offense is going to actually look with Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice being in his second year and kind of getting settled in, knowing that he's not going to get suspended for that DUI or the street racing he was doing. And the accident that he caused hurting some people. So they're saying that it may be handled after the season. So Patrick Mahomes with deep threats, still having Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown not playing yet. Yeah, it's looking kind of scary. We'll see what week 2 holds, but they did their thing. Friday, the game in Brazil, we had the Eagles versus the Packers. The Eagles had their new weapons. New weapon in particular, Saquon Barkley went out there and balled out, had a receiving touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. He's a weapon, man. Him with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, that offensive line. They're going to be dangerous. Saquon can actually spread his wings and not be focused on solely as he was when he was a Giant. You have A.J. Brown to take pressure off, Devonta, all those weapons that I named. If he's running the ball too well, they have to stack the box. If they stack the box, they can dump the ball off to a receiver. If they play light because of the receivers, they can hand the ball off to Saquon. He can run the ball. They can run options. Jalen Hurts can run the ball. It'll take a lot of pressure off of Jalen Hurts because he won't have to run as much and do as many tush pushes because Saquon will get in there. He's a big dude. So he goes out there and just do the things that Christian McCaffrey does, but I feel like he's a lot bigger. And I feel like they both kind of have the same kind of injuries here and there, ankles and kind of like deep muscle kind of injuries. But I feel like being on this team with the weapons they have, both him and Jalen Hurts won't have have to carry such a load, and they can expend save their energy for later in the season, and they'll be dangerous and hard to stop, and just kind of like maybe even play for that 1 seed this year. You know what I mean? I think they could win the division because I think they're a little bit better. If their defense can come together, I think they may be better than the Cowboys. Don't quote me on this. It's only been 1 week, and they did play the Packers, and the Packers were giving it to them until Jordan Love did get hurt, sprained his MCL. It's going to be out for a while. So I don't know if Jordan Love didn't get hurt, the Packers couldn't have won the game. But yeah, the Eagles look good. They look good. That was the Friday game, and I was right on that prediction. I did predict the Eagles to win that game, but I was wrong about the Thursday prediction with the Ravens and Chiefs. Then we had the Rams and Lions. More injuries, sadly, for the Rams. Puka Nacua got hurt. He did come in with the knee injury already, but I thought it was kind of healed up, man. He was really heralded high on fantasy as a late first round, early second round pick. This year with Cooper Kupp being healthy, I thought both of them were going to be able to take off and do their thing. But it just sucks that he ended up getting hurt, and it kind of, that injury is nagging. It's going to cost him a little more time, and that does suck. I feel for him. But the Rams still are good, man. Even though they didn't have their up and coming player last year. He set the league on fire with some of the stuff that he was able to do. But that kind of caused everybody to forget about it caused everybody to kind of forget about Cooper Kupp. Like the stuff that he did the year before, Triple Crown and everything like that, he wasn't healthy. So that gave the room for Puka Nacua to shine. Matthew Stafford, when it is time to go to his guys and he knows there's a guy that he relies on, he'll go to him a lot. And that's what happened with Puka Nacua. I feel like he got super used, and when he was used, he made the most out of it, breaking tackles, yak yards, him and Cooper Kupp. Really good at that, sitting down in space where Matthew Stafford wanted them to sit, and just little things like that. I feel like they know kind of what to do, and they kind of worked a lot with Matthew Stafford in the offseason to be those receivers that he needs. And Matthew Stafford's a reliable quarterback. He'll throw the ball and get it there as long as you catch it. It might be a rocket, might be a no-look pass, but he'll make you look good if you were able to catch the ball and just be in the right spot at the right time. So having those receivers, Kyren Williams coming in, being as good as he was last year, they were actually being able to stick with the Lions. So, the Lions coming in after last year, having a Cinderella season, almost making losing to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, almost making the Super Bowl. They kind of feel like this year was the year to repeat and kind of do that. They feel like they have everything together. That defense was good. You saw what Gibbs and Montgomery was able to do. You saw Williamson flashing. Jameson Williams. I think it's Williams, or is it Williamson? Jameis Williamson, whatever his name is. Flash, the speed is there. You saw Amon-Ra St. Brown, his coming out party last year, 1,500 yards. You saw Laporta in his rookie season come out and be great. So this offense was humming. The offensive line was great. So you expect Jared Goff to come out here and kind of have a repeat of last season. But just I don't know if it was just these two teams having that rivalry due to the quarterbacks being on the opposite teams. You know what I mean? And last year, the Detroit did beat the Rams and take them out of the playoffs. So I think there's going to be a long-going rivalry between those two teams, and they're able to have a good game. They were back and forth until, in the end, the Lions were able to put up a little bit more points than the Rams were able to do without Puka Nacua. Tyler Johnson, Demarcus Robinson, they all stepped up in the absence of Puka Nacua. And Cooper Kupp was going to get his. He was getting open, doing whatever he wanted to do. But in the end, they didn't really have enough firepower, weren't able to stop the Lions from taking the game. So they did win 26-20. I believe I did pick that game right as well. Browns and Cowboys, not really much to talk about in this game. Dak Prescott did get paid. I think it's $204 million with or something more than, like, he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history now. The next one to get paid is always the top one to get paid. You know what I mean? So he actually got his money. CeeDee Lamb has gotten his money. So next is just Micah Parsons. But everything is all good in the Cowboys, and they rolled the Browns 33-17. Deshaun Watson is not looking good, even after he came back from the injury, and they paid him all that money for the Browns. And this year is supposed to be the year he came back and showed what he got. It still looks like his shoulder hasn't healed. He's out there playing like garbage. The defense is doing what they can to keep him in the game, but they can't do it. Offensively, I don't know if they're just missing Nick Chubb to take a lot of pressure off the quarterback. But yeah, Deshaun Watson looks garbage. It's like he lost all the skill that he came in and was drafted highly by the Houston Texans to display, because it looks garbage. It looks crazy. But they lost 33-17. Not really much to talk about in this game. Broncos, my boy Bo Nix versus the Seahawks. Seahawks won 26-20. This game is crazy too. Kind of hard to watch, but I watched a little bit of everything on Red Zone. I think in this game the Broncos got 3 safeties, maybe 2. I think there was 3, but I know there's 2 for sure against the Seahawks. But that's the only way they scored points. Bo Nix wasn't able to move that offense down the field that much. The running backs, they're rotating 3 running backs, which just drives me crazy. Javonte Williams, McLaughlin, and Estime. The receivers, I don't know who the fuck the receivers are half the time. I know Cortland Sutton, but I don't know why Troy Franklin's not playing, but all the other guys they got are garbage. I don't know what they're trying. Sean Payton, I've heard a lot of stuff about. I know Sean Payton from coaching the Saints and Drew Brees and shit. But ever since he got to the Broncos, everybody's been talking about how his offense and how his coaching is going to be highly heralded. He's going to be able to turn Russell Wilson around. He's going to be able to turn Bo Nix into a superstar. Bo Nix, man, he's a guy that's been in a lot of systems. He's able to pick up on offensive. I don't know if he's able to pick up offenses right away, because I know he was at Auburn for a while. He was at Oregon for a couple of years. So I think it may take him a couple of years in the system to get it down pat like he was. He's been really experienced as far as experience in college. He played a whole bunch of years. But I still kind of feel like, what I'm saying, I still kind of feel like without requisite weapons and really good running backs in the backfield, I think his talents aren't really going to be able to be displayed the way they should be. He was off on a couple throws, threw a couple bad interceptions. His only touchdown, I think, was rushing. But I mean, it's just tough because none of the really rookie quarterbacks did well this week. So you can't really blame him that much. He had a better week than I would say Caleb Williams did, but people are really quick to call these quarterbacks busts. And I'm a ride with Bo Nix, you know what I'm saying? Him being from Oregon, I want our tradition of putting out quarterbacks to stay pretty high. And I think if you give him a chance again, play this year out, maybe next year in the system, he'll do a lot better. But again, it's just week 1. So week 2 could be fabulous. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I'll talk about the game a little later, see who he plays. Next game, Raiders versus the Chargers. First game, Jim Harbaugh back in the league. This one was an ugly one too. Chargers were able to win 22-10. It was ugly, but they scratched out a win. It's going to be interesting. We know that Jim Harbaugh is going to run the hell out of the ball. We know the defense is going to play better than they did last year. Receivers we're still looking to see what they have to give. Ladd McConkey scored a touchdown. We heard he was going to be good with Justin Herbert coming out of Georgia, but we'll see and see if they can develop a little bit more than what we saw against the Raiders, because it is the Raiders. Raiders only scored 10 points, but yeah, the Chargers won. Of course, I predicted that game right, because I'm always right with Justin and them. Let's see. What else? What other ones do we have? Oh, we got the Saints versus Panthers. This was a shit show. Panthers are just not going to be good at anything. They've proven again and again that they just can't do it. I think they draft receivers that are good in college, and they just go there. I think that's the team where receivers go to die. Laviska Shenault, Xavier Legette. Who else is over there? What's the guy's name that played at LSU? I forgot his name. Whatever his name is, they get drafted over there. We're hella good in college and just end up going over there and just being sorry. I don't know if it's Bryce Young. He's another one of those Alabama quarterbacks that got taken high off of their college resume. Tua is still doing well, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on with that. I really don't. I don't know if he's going to get any better. Dave Canales went over there as offensive coordinator. They're using his track record of helping Baker Mayfield do well in Tampa, and Geno Smith doing well the year before to try to elevate Bryce Young, but he's throwing garbage balls out there. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe when they get Jonathan Brooks back and solidify that run game a little bit more, maybe they'll take a lot of pressure off of Bryce Young. But right now they're trash. They let the Saints go out there and put 47 points on them. They didn't even use Chris Olave, making Bryce or Derek Carr look like a superstar out there. It was crazy. Raheem Shaheed just running past the defense. Alvin Kamara scoring. Oh, yeah, I hate to. I don't even want to talk about it. Anyways, they won that game. Next we had Colts Texans. This was interesting as well. Just seeing CJ Stroud back out there with the addition of Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Tank Dell, and Nico Collins. That offense is amazing now. They can score with the best of them. We're just gonna have to see how that defense gets put together and if they can stand up against higher talented teams, because this was a divisional game which they needed to win, but they're playing against the Colts. The Colts do have weapons, don't get me wrong. They have a couple of speedsters out there, receiver Adonai Mitchell, Alec Pierce, who's catching bombs. Anthony Richardson is just looking crazy. His arm talent's crazy. He's not the most accurate, but he's actually super athletic. And he can throw the ball. So if you're running wide open, he's gonna get the ball to you. It may not look the prettiest at all times. It may be like, how did he get that ball there? He's uber athletic. But once he gets his accuracy down, he's going to be a monster. You already know they have Jonathan Taylor back there in the backfield. Their defense is getting better as well. But again, people hold the Texans to a high regard. And with the addition of Stephon Diggs and him scoring his 2 touchdowns, actually their new additions really showed out. Stephon Diggs scored 2 touchdowns, and I think Joe Mixon had over 130 yards. So that all in all just proves to show that I think the Texans are going to be another level this year, especially when they get it all together. Again, they won 29-27. I predicted that one right. Saints and Panthers, I probably predicted the Panthers win. Yeah, just because I hate the Saints and they didn't hold. Yeah. Cardinals and Bills. Again, I talked about the Cardinals game. Or actually, I skipped the Dolphins and Jaguars. Dolphins, Jaguars. It is what it is. It didn't look the cleanest as of a game for Miami. They're firing on all cylinders at the beginning of last season. A-Chain, Mostert, Waddle, Tyreek, Tua, the same usual suspects. No pun intended with the whole Tyreek Hill situation. That's kind of insensitive. But we thought they were going to keep rolling. Mike McDaniels had them rolling last year. They drafted a whole bunch of other speedsters or picked up other speedsters. So this offense is just full of speed. They weren't clicking right away. The Jaguars were able to put up numbers and score a lot at the beginning. Brian Thomas Jr., rookie over there, was doing work. Christian Kirk doing work. ETN doing work until Miami's defense caused a couple of turnovers from that Jaguars offense. And once they, caused a couple of turnovers, Tyreek Hill did the Tyreek Hill thing, scored an 80-yard touchdown, did the hands behind the back handcuff celebration, and just was able to give Miami the win. Simple turnovers. It's always little things that get in the Jags' way. They start off so well and everybody holds them in so high regard and they end up finding a way to shoot themselves in the foot and lose. It's always kind of crazy to see, but maybe, it is Miami, and Miami is supposed to be one of the good teams this year, so maybe you can't really hold that against the Jags. But if they want to be held up there in high regard with those teams, they got to win those games, Cardinals and Bills, again, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Cardinals were off to a great start. I think it was kind of like 14-3 or something really weird. Cardinals got on the board first. Connor running the ball, Kyler Murray scrambling, finding Dortch, finding everybody pretty much except for Marvin Harrison. McBride, everybody's looking at McBride as a tight end 1 this year just for the stuff that he's able to do and how he was finding a connection with Kyler Murray towards the end of the season. But their defense, man, that's the thing that's going to hold them back. Their offense is only going to get better and better just with the additions they had to their last year's team. But the Bills were able to come back and do it all behind the legs of Josh Allen. The Bills have all new receivers now. They lost Stephon Diggs, lost Gabe Davis, so now they're just working with Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman, their new receiver that they just drafted, and some other guys. So it's just like, it's a kind of a makeshift receivers group. They have James Cook still in the background, the backfield, but it's just gonna take some working, man. It's gonna be a new offense and some figuring out the team's gonna have to do. It's just not going to be able to have to be. It's not going to have to be Josh Allen running it all the time. It can't be that because he already hurt his wrist. He has an arm wrap on now. We saw him dive over a player into the end zone to try to score. And that's kind of a lot of their red zone defense, especially with having a smaller back like James Cook. It seems like a lot of the times it's either if you're not going to find, Keon Coleman is a bigger receiver, about 6'4", 6'5". So if you can find him in the end zone on a fade or something like that, Khalil Shakur maybe sit down, maybe quick slants or something into the end zone. Most likely it's going to be a Josh Allen run. You know what I'm saying? You kind of want to avoid that just for him being your superstar quarterback, and you want him to be your quarterback for a while. So that's gotta try to figure something out. But for the fact that Arizona lost that game, this should have been the game if they won. It shocked the world. It's my upset pick of last week, and they let me down. Bears, Titans, this game was blah as well. The biggest story about this game, again, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said the scores for the last 2 games. Let's talk about them. Dolphins won 20-17. I predicted that to happen. Bills won 34-28 over the Cardinals, and that was my upset pick. That didn't go right, but the next game was Titans and Bears. Was the ever so awaited debut of Caleb Williams. We saw him playing on Hard Knocks throughout the upcoming or the past months leading up to this game, the preseason and stuff. And we expected big things from him. That offense didn't look too good at all. It wasn't clicking at all. A lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers. We saw Caleb try to do stuff he did in college. It didn't really work out there. We saw his nails painted too. Bright orange saying, I forgot some weird shit, Go Bears or Da Bears or some weird shit. But anyways, all those antics, though he wanted to be himself and just try to let his play talk speak for him, didn't go too well, man. It didn't go too well at all. I think he had 94 yards total. Didn't really have a good completion percentage. Maybe threw like 40 passes and didn't complete even half of those. But the defense was able to do well enough against the Titans, who have Will Levis, and Will Levis still hasn't got a clue of what he's doing. That offense is not looking good. They have Pollard, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, but still Will Levis doesn't look like he knows what the hell he's doing. And the Bears defense and special teams were able to keep them in the game and steal the win, even though Caleb played pretty bad. The score was 24-17 off the back of special teams and Bears for the defense. And I predicted that, but I feel like I don't deserve it. Steelers and the Falcons, another sloppy ass game. I predicted the Steelers to win because I'm not going for the Falcons. Everybody's predicting the Falcons to be this amazing team just because they got Kirk Cousins. He's coming off an Achilles injury. I don't understand why people are expecting that. But Pittsburgh defense, it's TJ Watt. TJ Watt was still causing havoc like he was last year, even though he got injured last year. Coming off the injuries, picking up where he left off, was sacking Kirk Cousins. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't running. So he was able to do enough to keep the Steelers in the game and actually help them win the game. They started Justin Fields, their newly acquired quarterback, since Russell Wilson was dealing with that calf injury. So we saw Justin Fields out there running an offense. It didn't look pretty, and he did not throw the ball to the middle of the field at all. You saw the throw chart they put up on SportsCenter, and it's just strictly to the left and to the right, and nothing really downfield. It was kind of crazy, but they were able to win the game, and I think he is going to start again, but I don't know how sustainable that is. But it does speak a lot of volumes about the Falcons that they couldn't even win that game with Justin Fields, their quarterback. So especially with those new defensive additions that are supposed to make such a big difference, it's embarrassing. Giants and Vikings. Vikings, Sam Darnold had one of the best quarterback performances this week. Was lighting up the Giants, and the Giants are the Giants. Danny Dimes sucks still. The fans were letting them have it after the game, but they did terrible. Sam Darnold again lit them up and had one of the second best QBR of the week and lit the Giants up 28-6. Again in this game here, last game, Patriots, not the last game that the Bucs is talking about still, but Patriots versus the Bengals. Bengals just suck. I don't know why they suck so much right now, but let the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett, first time head coach Jared Mayo, with no offense at all, that remind Jay Stevenson just run up and down their ass. And Bengals are 0-1 again. Last year they started pretty bad too. I think they didn't even make the playoffs last year. So this is supposed to be a year that they come out and kind of show that they can take that next step in the AFC. The contract dispute with Jamar Chase didn't allow him to be a practice for most parts of the preseason or the training camp. So it looks like he has to ramp up. You already see that T. Higgins has hamstring issues, so he's not playing. He's playing on a franchise tag. So he's going to take his time with that injury. He's not going to come back till he's 100% and ready to go, because if he gets any kind of hurt or if that shit tears completely, they're going to want to pay him no money. So I'll just wait till I'm completely healthy if I was him too. The loss of Joe Mixon was hitting way harder than they expected, I believe, just because, they're not doing well at running back. Zach Moss and Chase Brown, I feel like if you don't really know who your starting running back is, you don't have one. You know what I'm saying? And if they're both not really good, then we're struggling as well. Zach Moss did score that touchdown, but people are talking about Zach Moss or Chase Brown creeping up on him, and that's not a good look for us, presumably starting running back. So again, Patriots were able to win 16-10. I did not predict that right, but I did predict the Vikings over the Giants. I did predict the Steelers over the Falcons. So just to make sure I'm over my phone, I did. I'm bringing it back. I know it's been a while since I did it. It's been a little bit since your boy brought it. Let me how I zoom in? How I zoom in on your boy? Anyways, I gotta hit you with it. I gotta hit him with it. It's been a while. Let me see. Dual cameras, because I'm gonna talk about my motherfucking Buccaneers, boy. I heard y'all out there. I heard y'all out there. Washington and Jaden Smith or Jaden Daniels are gonna come in here, and their pass rush is not gonna be enough. Just let me. Have you guys heard of Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield is tired of y'all talking about all these other quarterbacks and not mentioning his name. Though he didn't get the $200-300 million contract, everybody else on the team was able to re-sign and come back and do exactly what they're doing. To do exactly what they're doing right now. 37-20. Baker Mayfield, I wrote his stats down, 24 for 30, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns. Respect that man, Shake and Bake. I don't want to hear nobody else talk foul about Shake and Bake. I don't want to hear nobody talk foul about Michael Evans. Michael Lynn Evans, you know what I'm saying? Talk to him nice. And I already went on a rant last time, letting y'all know how I felt about y'all dogging him too. But talk to us nice. Okay, what y'all gonna say now? Oh, the Commanders weren't a good team. Oh, yeah, it's the Commanders. But if it was the Cowboys and Dak Prescott playing the Cardinals and he threw for what Baker Mayfield threw, we would talk about it all week. So let's not play with it right now. The way he went out there and dismantled the Commanders secondary. I don't want to hear about, oh, their secondary. Sorry, it's the Commanders secondary. Our secondary was decimated after the second quarter. What happened to Jaden Daniels running all over us, throwing the ball deep, his deep arm that we saw in the preseason, it didn't happen. Our defense shut that shit down. Yaya Diaby, JTS, Vita Vea, KJ Britt, good first game, boy. Devin White went to the Eagles, and we thought it was going to all be bad. Our linebacking core wasn't going to be. Nah, we got Levante David, Antoine Winfield. We got the hit of Jordan Whitehead back in secondary. We wasn't allowing none of that. Jaden Daniels couldn't get the ball downfield. Baker Mayfield every drive, whether it was Chris Godwin, 8 catches, Mike Evans, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin touchdown 2. Let me not forget that. Jalen McMillan, welcome to the team. He dropped the first one. He would have scored a touchdown early, scored the last touchdown of the game. Wide open, just walk-in touchdown. Bucky Irvin, welcome to the squad. You know how we rock. Oregon boy, running back, you know what I'm saying? Came in, got drafted. I knew instantly we got a 1. This boy, I love me some Rashad White, don't get me wrong. But Bucky Irvin coming in there doing what he wants to do, 6 yards a carry. I think he had like 6 carries for like 67 yards. Like, didn't even use them a whole bunch. Balling, boy. So I think this year we have something. Lynn Cohen, thank you for being a great offensive coordinator. Dave Canales, you did what you did last year. I appreciate that as well. But this year we got something. Shake and Bake, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You already know it is. We play the Lions next week. We're getting our revenge. You heard it here first. The Best of Bias podcast. And it's Lydell Dinero standing on my shit. You already know it's Tampa Bay. Let me calm down. I'm sorry. That was for dual cameras. I'm sorry. I had to get a character for a second and let y'all know really how it was. I really had to let you guys know what we did last week. And it was really impressive to me. I'm not going to lie. You know how I am about my teams, and I'm really going to represent all that other shit that I was doing for y'all, that chitty chat, tick, 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 tock, tock, tick, tick. About those other football teams, fuck those guys. No offense. No offense. And I know I'm really excited right now. I'm going to drink my water. Let me drink my water real quick. Man, we did so good this week. And if we can beat the Lions this upcoming week and beat them in this game, we saw what the Rams was doing to them. The Rams ain't got no corners either. We saw what they're decimated to. Their most recent corner had to go on IR, missing 3 corners. We're missing some corners and a safety. Antoine Winfield did get hurt in the game. We made him the highest paid safety in the league this year. And for him to go out after game 1 for a little bit is kind of sad, kind of tough, but we're going to see, man. It's going to come down to a shootout. We're going to have to see who can score more points. You know what I mean? They have Carlton Davis as their starting corner. Carlton Davis was on our team last year, getting burnt by everybody, getting burnt by the Lions themselves to lose us the game. So they already know, and we already know all about their best corner. And if that's the best that they can offer, yeah, we coming in there doing some shit. As long as our offensive line can block and we can run the ball like we're running against the Commanders, and arguably the the Commanders D line is one of the best D lines in the league. So if we can hold our own against them, and we can just hold our own against the line of the Lions, we can put up some points and we can shock the world. We play the Broncos week 3, go 3-0, smooth going into the Eagles game, and hey, and they're gonna want their revenge too. But if we can stay healthy and ball out, the sky's the limit for the Bucks. And you already know what we call is champ over here, Champa Bay, Super Bowl 59. And you already know I'm gonna talk a little bit when I talk about after these games and the previews for the next games. Actually, I mean, since we're done with week 1, we can just talk about it now. During week 1, after the games, or during, I think it's right before all the games started, like something to wake us up and let us talk about during the games beginning. Kendrick Lamar will be performing at the New Orleans Super Bowl at halftime, Super Bowl 59. We thought all the beef stuff was done. We thought the Drake and Kendrick Lamar was done. You thought Kendrick went back into hibernation. Nope, he was just plotting on performing at the Super Bowl. That's all. And I think it's Grammy time too, and Not Like Us is up for a Grammy and all this other shit. We thought Drake was gonna try to re-spark the beef, talking about it was time for round 2 and some of the music that was coming out. But yeah, it just looks like, I don't know. Me personally, I don't know Kendrick Lamar that much. I'm not going to tell you that I'm the super fan and know his personality. I'm just going off of his track record. It just looked like, after he, does some shit, puts some music out, he kind of goes and hibernates for a while. But when it comes to beef, I've never really seen Kendrick Lamar in beef. He could be kind of like a maniacal guy to where he's never going to let up, and he's taking strategic steps to increase the disses and make it deeper than disses. And I don't know if he's going to take the stage and perform Not Like Us. I don't see why he wouldn't, but I don't think he can rap about some of the things he raps about in that song on a national audience stage. But if he does, I kind of feel like that is kind of like drawing a line in the sand, kind of showing what Birdman, Nicki Minaj, and this topic's kind of tough for me. Just me being the Lil Wayne fan I am. Lil Wayne, because the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, like everybody knows. Lil Wayne should be performing there, and I kind of do think he will. But I think the argument is more so he should be headlining just because it is in New Orleans. People are saying last year, since Dr. Dre was able to, or was it last year? Whenever it was in LA, they were able to, that was 2 years ago. Yeah, they were able to have Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and all the LA performers perform. But then it came down to say that the city actually has to sign off on the artist, and the artist was chosen by the city in New Orleans, picked Kendrick Lamar to perform over Lil Wayne. And that just caused speculation for people like artists like Birdman and Nicki Minaj to go on rants saying that people in the industry are doing what they can to keep Lil Wayne blackballed out of performing at the Super Bowl due to, I don't know, maybe issues that they have or Drake has with Kendrick Lamar, or issues that Nicki Minaj may have with associations, the Grammys, or big like the Carters, because Jay-Z is really involved with the Super Bowl planning. And stuff like that, especially the halftime. I think the Super Bowl for the halftime and stuff, I think he's directly in charge of that. So people are accusing him of not letting Lil Wayne perform, saying that they have issues, and just opening up a whole bunch of doors for a lot of bullshit to happen. I kind of just feel like it's kind of fucked up, man. I'm a big Lil Wayne fan, me personally. I would love to see Lil Wayne perform on stage, but when it comes down to crafting a Super Bowl show, and actually performing live in front of fans, I don't think he'd be as good performatively as Kendrick Lamar personally. I think Kendrick Lamar goes out there, when he performs, he has a theme, he comes out with intention. He doesn't perform a lot. So when you do see him perform, he puts on that spectacle. Him, Chris Brown, Travis Scott, those guys put on a real good show. You know what I mean? So just him being as popular as he is right now, his showmanship, I think it's just the perfect thing to do. But I know Kendrick Lamar is going to take just as he did with the promo of him actually going to announce that he was performing at the Super Bowl. He's going to just kind of like throw a little shade throughout and kind of be as petty as he can throughout. And I just hate it. I hate it because I don't like Lil Wayne attached to it. I'm a Lil Wayne, again, I'm going to reiterate this. I'm a Lil Wayne fan to the utmost degree. I was there before he brought on Nicki Minaj, before he brought on Drake, before all this Young Money shit. You know what I mean? When they were created and when he did put them out, I did support their careers for wholeheartedly. And I do still. I'm not saying that I don't, but I just kind of feel like the shit that they do, they should be responsible for that. Leave Lil Wayne out of it. When you go out here and bring false narratives as far as, oh, it's because of Drake, and since he's Drake's friend, he's not able to. No, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. And I think it's kind of like selfish of you to even think that way. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like you, you're not performing at the Super Bowl. I don't think that's the reason they're going and not picking the legendary Lil Wayne to perform here. You know what I mean? All in all, I still feel like Lil Wayne will come out and he will get his due. And I think Kendrick Lamar, though Lil Wayne wasn't chosen to headline, I think Kendrick Lamar is the type of person to pay homage and was going to do that anyways. They have a couple of songs together. I just feel like you saw what he did at the pop out on Juneteenth. He brought out everybody from LA, paid homage, told them to come on stage, do their thing. And I think Kendrick Lamar don't give a fuck. He has plenty of hits to go up there and do his own 13-minute thing, but I feel like he's not too big of a man, literally and physically. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go there, but to bring up Lil Wayne and have him grab the mic and pause to perform a couple of songs, do some of his hits, and just be there right along with him. But I just hate to see that with the announcement of one of the first solo hip hop acts that we ever get announced, that it has to be so much backlash and shade attached to it, especially with one of my favorite artists. You know what I'm saying? It just sucks, man. And I hate that I have to choose sides, but I just kind of feel like, I mean, it is in New Orleans, and we don't know how many more times it will be in New Orleans. But I think Kendrick Lamar is the right choice. And again, you guys know me. People that know me that watched it, they know I'm a Wayne fan, biggest Wayne fan. I know thousands or more. I wouldn't say thousands, but I would say 20s, 30s or more Wayne songs than I do Kendrick Lamar's. But I just kind of feel like it's the right thing to do. And Kendrick Lamar, I like him a lot as well. So I feel like there's no wrong choice between the two, but I feel like as far as right now and performatively and the stuff that he has going, I think he brings more eyes. I think it just opens up a lot more. I don't know. It's hard to talk about, but yeah. Kendrick Lamar halftime, Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Check it out. I'm telling you, Lil Wayne's gonna get on stage and perform with them. I guarantee you that. I could put some money on it. Who want to bet with me? Anyway, before I got sidetracked with that, let's talk about NFL Week 2, and then I'll get y'all up out of here because this has been a long one. Week 2 predictions: we got the Buffalo Bills at Miami. Buffalo, or actually Miami, is favored by 2.5. Of course, I will pick Miami in that game. It'll be a close game. I mean, I kind of feel like Miami does still struggle with beating Buffalo. So this game, I think they do get over the hump and do win. Las Vegas at Baltimore. Baltimore lost last week. Baltimore favored by 9.5. That's crazy. Baltimore is at home. They do have revenge in their hearts. I think Derrick Henry will run the ball like 20 times, and they're going to pound the Raiders. Pause. Chargers at Carolina. Chargers are favored by 6.5. 6.5 points. That's kind of surprising. A lot of points, but I do got the Chargers. Yeah, NFC South. I'm going to hope the NFC South team that's not the Buccaneers loses every week. We got New Orleans Saints at Dallas. I don't know why people are thinking this may be an upset. Dallas is favored by 6.5 points at home. I think they'll win by 20. Dallas is going to win that game. Tampa Bay at Detroit. Oh, fuck, I forgot we were at Detroit. Detroit's favored by 7. Tampa Bay, I think, is going to upset Detroit. Again, like I said, as long as we have enough people to play in our secondary that could possibly stop Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams from going behind us and just scoring touchdowns and shit like that, I think we can hold our own. I think it'll be closer than 7. So if you're betting on this game, I maybe 3. You know what I'm saying? So I take the Buccaneers with the points, but I got the Bucks. Colts versus the Green Bay Packers, again with Jordan Love being out. I don't know who's starting that quarterback. Is it Willis? Let's see. Indianapolis is favored by 3.5. I think Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor and them building up performance from last week, and they do win that game. in Green Bay. Cleveland at Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville takes care of business. Again, Deshaun Watson is not looking good. I think it's time for Trevor Lawrence to be able to overcome good defenses and take their team to the next level if he thinks he's going to ever be able to win something. And this is the opportunity. Again, the Browns weren't able to move the ball at all against the Dallas defense, but the pass rush of Jacksonville was able to get to was it the Titans they played last week? I forgot who I said they played. The Miami. So yeah, the pass rush was able to get to Tua. So I think their pass rush will be able to get to Deshaun Watson. Again, he hasn't been letting go of the ball. He's getting sacked a lot. So I think Trayvon Walker and what's his name? Josh Hines Allen will be able to get to the quarterback and take Deshaun Watson down and get that dub. Where I'm at. San Francisco versus the Vikings. They are in Minnesota. 49ers favored by 6 points. I still got the Niners. Seattle at New England. New England squeaked out that win last week against the Bengals, but the Seahawks do want to win. Actually, they won last week against the Chargers. No, they won last week against the Broncos. So Seahawks looking to go 2-0. They're favored by 3.5 in New England. I think they do lose to they do lose. New England loses to Seattle, and Seattle gets that second victory. Jets at Tennessee. I think the Jets do win this game. It just sucks for them that they have to play the 49ers week 1. I think they will rebound. The defense will look better against Tennessee, and Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers, and that offense will look way better against the Titans. I do see the Jets winning that game. The Giants playing the Commanders this week in Washington. Washington is favored by 1.5. I think Jaden Daniels bounces back and they do get to show a little bit more of that offense other than him just scrambling every play against the Giants, and they open up the scoreboard on them. Rams are playing the Arizona Cardinals. This is where I got my upset of the week. Last week, the Arizona Cardinals were playing the Bills. I think they're a better team than the Rams are. Offensively, I think their quarterback is able to move the ball with his legs and move the chains. I do think Matthew Stafford has a quick release and able to get the ball out. And they may be able to score a lot more than I don't think a lot more because Puka Nacua is out, depending on how DeMarcus Robinson and Tyler Johnson performs. You already know what Cooper Kupp's going to do. So if they're able to move the ball up and down the field on the Cardinals, they have no chance. But if the Cardinals are able to score along with the Rams and it comes down to a high point scoring game, I think Kyler and the weapons he has are a little bit more than what the Rams have at their disposal, giving me kind of the hint of just a little smidgen of an upset. And I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals. Double 2 weeks for my upset. Cardinals don't let me down. Chiefs are at home against the Bengals. Bengals are really successful out there. They wanted to change the name to Burrowhead instead of Arrowhead. Chiefs favored by 6 points. The Bengals looked bad last week, so nobody's really going to bet on them. So I do got the Chiefs over the Bengals in that game. Pittsburgh at the Broncos. Pittsburgh favored by 3. I do got Pittsburgh in that defense shutting down Bo Nix, though I like you, Bo. That defense is going to be a lot tougher than the defense of the Seattle Seahawks you played last week, and I think that they're going to be able to get to you more and just disrupt them more. Again, I think it's going to take him a couple of seasons in that program with that playbook to really get settled and show his skills. He's going to be learning on the fly with not a lot of weapons on that team, so it's going to kind of suck for him right now. Bears at Houston. It sucks for Caleb Williams that his second game is going to have to be against CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is going to continue to prove that he is the quarterback of the future. It's at least the AFC behind Patrick Mahomes. We'll see if Caleb Williams can rebound and play a lot better than he did last year, but I think Houston defense is better than the defense he played last week, so it's going to be a lot tougher. But we'll see if he bounces back maybe game 1, since game 1 jitters. He didn't play much in the preseason, so we'll see. And then lastly, we have Atlanta at Philly on Monday night. I got Philly winning that game, of course, because for Atlanta's an NFC South team that's not the Buccaneers. So again, what do I say? I'm always going to bet against them. And they're favored by 6.5 points. But yeah, and that's the scores and my predictions, or those are my predictions for week 2. Again, let me go over them really fast. I got Miami over Buffalo, Ravens over the Raiders, Chargers over Carolina, Dallas over the Saints, Tampa Bay over the Lions, Indianapolis Colts over the Green Bay Packers. I have Jacksonville winning at home against the Browns, 49ers winning in Minnesota, Seattle winning in New England. I got the Jets winning in Tennessee, Commanders winning at home against the Giants, Arizona winning in an upset at home against the Rams, Kansas City winning at home against the Bengals, Pittsburgh winning in Denver, and then Houston winning at home against the Bears, and then lastly, Philadelphia winning on Monday night against the Falcons. Whew. And that's it for the sports, man. Thank you guys for listening and sticking with me through that. I know it was long-winded, but win y'all some money. Take my advice. Again, you know what I'm saying? It's not 100%. It's just how I feel about those games. Again, if you're doing like elimination challenge, you got to pick teams who I think will win. I've seen a lot of those going around nowadays. So pick wisely, but that's just my insight on it. If you win a little money, don't be afraid to hit the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? I would appreciate it, but yeah. Again, we're gonna start doing prize picks soon, so I can help you guys win some actual money on there. I got some homies that are actually good and run prize picks a lot. And I'm saying, maybe we get some community picks and some community locks out there to help everybody out. But moving on to a little bit of Cinema Corner. Oh, actually, also, I don't know how political you guys are. Hope you guys are watching the debates. I think they're tonight and yesterday, or I don't know when exactly they are, but hope you guys are watching it. If you're super political, me personally, I haven't really paid that close attention. Me personally, I don't really judge the debate on who I'm going to vote for. I kind of just wait and kind of read policies and hear about it that way. Though, this is a good thing to watch to kind of get information about how people feel about certain topics and stances on things. But these two, well, me personally, I'm more so willing to, or just interested in what Kamala Harris has to say. Kamala Harris has to say. Just more so because I haven't heard her speak really. I don't know much about her as a politician or a district attorney or whatever she was before. So to hear her speak, just take some stances on some of the stuff that's going on right now in the country is interesting. I'm seeing how more well-spoken she is, or how much more well-spoken she is than Joe Biden, are able to string sentences together, sound way more believable, and have people be way more comfortable in maybe having her run the country than people were in Joe Biden. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is kind of standing on the same principles he was last year, kind of like, just saying what the Democrats didn't do and kind of like insulting people, just kind of shock value and stuff like that. So personally, I'm just like, I don't need to sit here for 4 or 5 hours watching them talk shit to each other, her talk about topics and say what Donald Trump has done that's bad that we kind of already know, and then him kind of turn around and say what the Democrats did that are bad that we kind of already know, and then just kind of arguing to try to make each other look bad and seeing who can look better type shit. It's not the type of shit that's going to really influence me to make a stance politically, so I'm not really much into it, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't inform you guys that was taking place. If you guys are trying to get more informed on who you're going to vote for and some of the stances the presidential candidates are taking, will be taking when they get into office. It's good information for you to know. Again, don't let my thoughts on it discourage you from watching, because I do feel like it's important to watch. I think it's me personally, just the style of how debates are now, and just how it was when I tuned in. I just can't find myself being attentive and just watching through the whole thing. I just got to, use my time to vent and think positive about the country a different way. I come out here and talk to y'all on the pod to kind of vent and try to get thoughts out. But yeah, and then I talked about TwitchCon already. Another real quick topic, I don't stand it for long, but Tory Lanez gets his recording equipment seized in jail in a raid. That's wild. That's very wild, man. He was putting out some slaps, man. I just kind of feel like it's kind of sad, because when you're in jail, you're locked away from everything, not able to really do much. But if you are able to find a way to still put out music, you're an artist, and still find a way to put out music that he says the proceeds do help support inmates in jail, help with their cases, help get them out of jail if they're in jail for a long time because they couldn't get lawyers to help them get out of jail, things like that. After hearing that, it's kind of sad to hear that he got his shit taken away, because he was dropping about 2 songs every Friday. They were still being kind of blackballed and still not popping up on any DSPs, but if you search for them, they are there. And then when people do buy them or download the DSPs, he was getting credit for them. Though maybe he wasn't doing what he said he was. Just the thought of him actually doing that is really smart. And him saying that the jails and the powers that be were taking that away from him so he couldn't help inmates get out, or help fund people get out of jail and get lawyers to get out of the jail system. It was kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. And I believe it, man, because, I've heard a lot of stuff about the labor that they use the inmates for in there, for cheap labor to help produce quality products that the jail then sells to make the jail's money. So it incentivizes people to keep people in jail. So that makes sense to carry that theory for why they would take away his recording equipment. And then it comes to the aspect of people still thinking, well, he is in jail and was found guilty for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. So it's people that do look at him as somebody that did shoot her, has no sympathy for what's going on in there. And if you look at it from that aspect, you do have to kind of look at it as such. He did get convicted of shooting her, and he is in jail. He is an inmate. He shouldn't be, from that aspect. And I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here. From that aspect, you shouldn't be able to continue to live the life you lived and continue to make money and still be an artist if you are in jail and supposed to be punished. But at the same time, if there's a positive that is coming out of it, he's not getting any special treatment, and he found a special way to do it and still have the music be good quality. I don't see what's wrong or why he deserves to get his stuff rated and taken. I've seen people with Instagram be on Instagram Live, have video games, tablets and all that kind of shit in jail. So I don't understand why he wouldn't be able to have recording equipment. As long as it's not weapons, he can afford to have it. I don't see what's wrong. But you know what I'm saying, if he is helping free people from the jails and getting people representation that didn't have representation, maybe people that powers that be would shut that shit down. Just prayers out to him. Again, though he may have been convicted of shooting somebody, jail isn't a place where anybody wants to be. I do wish there was a place of rehabilitating people in a different way. I just kind of feel like it's a form of torture. It's kind of crazy. Though some people deserve it. I just feel like it never is really going to be a place where people go to be healed mentally. I mean, physically they're trapped for sure, but mentally, oof, it's crazy. But yeah, let's wrap it up by just shouting out Beatle Juice. I didn't go see it. Sadly, I do need to get out and see it, but it did do a whole bunch, 110 million domestic opening when it did drop. So I'm really proud of them for that. Again, it's one of my favorite movies. Came out in the 1980s. A lot of the kids that probably went to go see it probably just saw it because Wednesday Addams was in it. Going out there to see it and it doing the numbers it did, it was amazing, man. I do need to get out there and see it. Just applaud to all y'all, Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, everybody involved. Good job, good on y'all. Way to do the movie justice. Hope it gets a lot of people to go back and watch Beetlejuice, the original. I'm probably gonna watch it again and go see that movie probably this weekend. But go out to your local movie theaters, support the movie. Yeah, let's keep the cinemas going, man. It's about to be winter and shit again. I know a lot of the Christmas movies are going to come out and stuff, and everybody's going to kind of forget about the movie theaters. But, summer did us good. Summer blockbusters were on fire. So hopefully TV shows and everything does keep it going. And we do get the movies, get us some classic stuff. We don't got to wait for 2025 to come for everything. I mean, 2025 is around the corner. If you think about it, it's already kind of about to be October. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. It's September, October. We're almost there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shit's gonna be cool. I can't wait. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with y'all. Oh shit, I didn't watch the challenge today, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch the challenge. I know I'm supposed to be talking about that on the pod, but shit, my bad, y'all. I'm gonna get on that and get more reviews as the season gets a little bit more into less people are on the show. It is kind of a different format because they are kind of doing a challenge and then doing an elimination on the next episodes type shit. So I will be back in with y'all to tune in and kind of update y'all on my feelings about it. Probably have some guests on, Ash Wash, V-Rons, usual suspects that I always say are going to be on and never show up. I'm just playing, but next pod, I think I'm gonna get I think I might drop another early pod on some shit, like maybe this weekend, just get in the booth with Chelsea and talk about some shit. I did tell you guys in the beginning we might get in the booth, get in the stew and just talk some shit. She has been wanting to get back on and talk to y'all. She got a better camera. Her camera is cool. Now we just gotta have to find a way to get her sound better and have no background noise. But we getting her in tune. You know what I'm saying? She wants to be a good part of the team, and I appreciate her involvement. Getting that girl's aspect of all these topics and stuff. And I know you guys love her, so she'll be on there soon. But yeah, this is the end of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Sorry we had to go a little long-winded, but I'll get it more sped up when it comes to getting the reviews and getting the flow of the pop culture inserted in there. I just kind of went off on tangents, kind of in the middle there when topics came up that were in pop culture that I didn't want to miss. What I didn't talk about though is that Shannon Sharp video. Oh my God. Oh, maybe I'll talk to Chelsea about that. Oh my God. Shannon Sharp, boy, you a freak boy, freaky boy. And if he keeps, if it was anybody else, they would definitely lose their job. But we're gonna see what happens with Shannon Sharp on ESPN tomorrow. Hopefully, they don't fire Unc. But that was wild as fuck. I've never seen nothing like that before. If you know, you know. I got to the end of the podcast without talking about it, so I ain't gonna go there. But if you're looking for me, you know where to find me and ask me about it. I'll talk to you all about it. It's SAC_Lydell on the Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. If you're looking for the podcast anywhere, Best of Bias on the Instagram, Best of Bias on TikTok, Best of Bias Podcast, and on YouTube, of course, aka thank you for all the videos. Again, they've been wonderful. This video, I'm expecting the works, man. You got hella time to do this one. You told me, hey, this one's gonna be spectacular. So hopefully the viewers right now can agree. Give me a thumbs up on the bottom of the video, like, and hit that bell too, so whenever the podcast drop, you guys can be the first to know about it. Yeah, man, more and more content are coming. Next week, I'm gonna try to get the podcast out early again next week, just because again I'm gonna be in TwitchCon. Expect videos from this one. I went somewhere recently, the cruise. I didn't get as much live film as I wanted to. It was just kind of weird just being in different countries, Wi-Fi and the boat internet and just a lot of shit like that. But TwitchCon, I will be walking around by myself and trying to get a lot of videos. This is a place where there'll probably be a lot of motherfuckers walking around with their cameras, so I won't feel as awkward. But I'm going to have to put myself out there, you know what I'm saying? For y'all, to take us to the next level, I'm going to have to be a little bit more out there. But yeah, if you want to be on the pod, like I always say, hit me up wherever you can find me. I just let you know all those places. Any of those places will be fine. DM me, hit me up for the merch. I still got hats all over the place. Still looking to make the next shirt. Still looking for the next patch, you know what I'm saying? If you have any designers, graphic designers, hit me up. But yeah, that's it. And that's all for today's episode. Thank you guys for always clicking play. If you're new, thank you for joining the family. If you're never going to listen again, thank you for listening to this one time. But where that theme song, guys, it's your boy Lydell Dinero. Enjoy your day. Hey, let's get to it. Football's here. I hope your team loses, but mine wins. Where that theme song at? Let's get it.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Best of bias.